How to make a Tekken-like level select screen. You can also use a controller setup. You can use images or videos, depending on your preference. Create the widget from wherever you want to select level. I am using my main menu level. Add a canvas panel. I recommend creating a new folder to keep things organized. Drag in an image that represents your level for each level. Add an image in your widget and set it to fill the entire screen. I will set it to be one of the levels, but it will be set to level 1 later. Add a button and scale and position it however you like. If you want to use the same settings as me, I'm using size 245 on X and 120 on Y. Middle anchor and -900 for X, 140 for Y. Set the button images to be your first level. If you don't want it to be dark, brighten it. I'm also going to give the buttons an outline of size 3 and keep it a little tinted. You can either name your buttons per the name of the level, or in order, or even both, but name your buttons properly because it will be of help later. Duplicate the button and position it accordingly. Everything else is the same, except for the position X. Set it to be the same as your other button and add it by 260. Set the images for the buttons and repeat until you've added all your levels. Make sure they're anchored the same. If you're going to have a random level button, add that as well. It's entirely up to you how to design the random level button. I recommend using a canvas of 1920 by 1080 or divide both values by 2 to save on memory. Add an event on hovered for each button. Change the background image to the level you have selected. I also recommend using 1920 by 1080 for the level images. To make the levels appear selected, we can fake the button being outlined with an emissive material by using a picture instead. Make sure you find one that's a PNG. Add another image and set it to be the emissive outline. Scale it so that it covers the outline of the button. Make one for each button. I recommend scaling and placing on full numbers and not numbers with decimals to make things easier. Set the outlines to be hidden. Set the correct outline to be visible when hovering the buttons. Since we have to hide the other outlines when switching between levels, instead of tracking which outlines are visible, we can just hide them all before setting our current one visible. Create a custom event and call it something like Hide Markers. Hide every marker. Call the event before setting the current marker visible. Now we can select between levels. While the marker already looks decent, we can add more life by animating it. Select the first marker and press Animations, New Animation. Name it something. Add the marker we've selected. Go to Color and Opacity. Move the timeline a little bit and press the keyframe button. Go to the beginning and set the alpha to something like 0.5. You can also do this the opposite way, starting from 1 and going down to 0.5. Play the animation when selecting the level. So there's two ways you can do this. One way is to create an animation for each marker. This gives you more control. For example, you can have different effects for each level, but it's more work. The second way is to animate each marker using the same animation. Add a delay and create a Boolean variable for each level. So to do it the first way, add a branch after the delay and check whether the current level is selected. On true, play the animation in reverse. Add the same code, and on true, connect to the first play animation. Set each Boolean to be true when selecting the buttons. Like we did with the markers, we can unselect all with an event. Call the event before setting to true. So that's what the animation looks like. Create a new animation for the second marker. You can experiment with different opacity setting to see what you like best. So just copy the code and replace the animation with the new one. Change the Boolean value as well. All right, so for method 2, select the next marker, and instead of creating a new animation, add the marker to this one. Copy the effect and paste. Add all the markers. With this method, we can skip all of this code and just play the animation indefinitely when constructing the script. Make sure to set the level 1 marker visible on construct. Method 2 is much easier, but I will continue the tutorial with method 1. However, the rest of the steps in the video won't depend on what method you use. Just make sure that you still have a random level Boolean. That looks more lively. You can also add an input image. Add some text with outline right beside it. To add a level name text, you can either use some text from your widget, add a custom font and use it, or you can create the text as an image. You can't really design the text much like this. Create a new canvas. The smaller the size, the less memory it takes, but the bigger it is, the better it will look. Here, you can design your text more. You can even make it 3D. Anchor, scale, and place it correctly. Now I'll set the background image to be level 1. When adding the rest of your level name text, make sure it's scaled and placed the same as the other one. The bazaar text does not align with my warehouse text. When it aligns, it should look like this. We can also animate the text. Change the text, or image rather, based on what level is selected. Also, make sure to set the Z order of the text behind the buttons if it overlaps. So that's how you can select levels with images. To use videos, create a new folder in your content browser called Movies. It's important that you name it exactly like this, since Unreal demands it for videos. To create the video for your level, I recommend filming your level in-game. I'd recommend doing this with a first-person character, but you can just hide the mesh from your character. Slow down the walking speed. Open up a recording software. To avoid interacting with the level's collision, you can set your character's movement mode to flying and turn off collision. Make sure to add a big value to the braking deceleration for smooth movement. You can also add spinning motion, but the camera needs to be set up right. Get creative. Open a video editing software of your choice. Remove audio. Find your preferred start position and set it to be the beginning of the video. You can transition to the second clip by fading. To make sure the video can loop seamlessly, fade back to the start of the video. Then, when the video is clear, copy the video from that point and set this to be the start instead. Repeat for the rest of your levels. You can also film directly from the editor or add characters and props. When all the videos are ready, import them into the Movies folder. You can also open up the location by going into your project file externally. Create a media player. Check this option. Double-click the media player. You can double-click to preview the videos. Create a material from the file that was created when we checked the box. Set material domain to user interface. This must be done for any material that is going to be used in a widget. Set the background image to be the material. Create a new media player variable. Select the player we created. Add an open source node and a loop node. Select the right video according to what level is selected. Repeat for all buttons. Remove the texture node. This step is not necessary if you're only using videos and you don't have a random button, but add a set material and set it to be the video we created. Again, repeat for all buttons. I'm just quickly going to switch between two levels since I don't have a video for this one. You can also add a play button if you want that. If you play the video right when the widget constructs, it won't work for some reason. To fix this, just add a delay on construct. Play the level 1 video. If you want to add a locked level icon, you can take your default image level and make it look shady. To sell it even more, add a lock icon. You can design the screen exactly as you like. Now let's set up the random level shuffler. Make some space for it. Add a switch on int, one value for each level. Use a random int in range and connect a branch to each output. Create an integer value called something like selection and check if it equals the current selected level. This is done to make sure it doesn't select the same level twice. Otherwise, you will get a delay in the shuffle. Here, we're going to use images since you won't have time to see much of the video. Set the level image on false and set the selection variable to 1. Add a small delay and check if the random level is selected. On true, connect back to the switch. Repeat for all levels. For the locked levels, create a new Boolean and check if the level is unlocked. On false, connect back to the switch. This video is not focused on saving and unlocking stuff, so I'm going to leave the level locked. Now we're almost done. You can also add a switch level sound and a level select sound. Instead of playing a level change sound on each button, we can play it when unselecting the markers or booleans. To prevent the sound being played 1,000 times at once, add a do once with a small delay and reset. To select levels using a controller, you can create a separate character. You can technically use input from the widget directly, but it may cause bugs sometimes. Set movement mode to flying. Remove the code in the level and spawn the controller character instead. You don't need to set any location. Possess the character. Adding it from the third-person default code won't work. So add a sequence to begin play. Set input mode to game only. Set the selection accordingly in the button hover code. Create a new integer called select level and connect each output to the level code. Create a custom event and add an input integer. The level number will increase or decrease based on our input. Select an input key to move from level to level. Call the event and set the value to be 1 for moving forward and -1 to move back. Add one more input and set the level to be your first level, or the random level. Do the opposite here. Also make sure to set the selected level's default value to 1. To open the selected level, add an input and create another custom event and switch. Open the right level according to selected number. You can add some effects to show that the level has been pressed. Add a delay before opening the levels. And sound, of course. Make sure you have enough delay. For it to work on random, set random level to false, and set the level text like we did earlier. You can also add a level description text. To drop down text, hold in Shift and press Enter. To use the mouse cursor and to press the buttons instead, disconnect the Set Input mode and set Show Mouse Cursor to True. You won't be able to press the buttons because the marker is overlapping. On press, open level. Set the visibility of the marker to be non-hit testable.